the morning of June 12th, we said goodbye to our lovely junior suite at the Hilton Berlin. We had to join a group of approximately 100 tourists for our bus ride to Magdeburg, with a stop for our tour of Potsdam. As we rode from Berlin to Potsdam, we crossed the Glienicke Bridge, also known as the Bridge of Spies. The Glienicke Bridge spans the Havel River to connect the cities of Berlin and Potsdam. The United States and the Soviet Union used it 4 times to exchange captured spies during the Cold War, and the bridge was referred to as the Bridge of Spies by reporters. Remnants of the borderline. Today, Glienicke Bridge is not only a popular backdrop for television commercials, but above all a beautiful vantage point with a view of Babelsberg Castle and Park, as well as the Church of the Savior. Picture of the Babelsberg Castle, a part of England in Potsdam. From 1871, Babelsberg was the summer residence of William I. The new palace is situated on the western side of the Sanssouci Royal Park in Potsdam. The building was begun in 1763, after the end of the 7 Years' War under Frederick the Great, and was completed in 1769. It is considered to be the last great Prussian Baroque palace. Opposite to the palace's westward opening court of honor are the commons. Styled in the same manner as the palace itself, the 2 buildings housed the royal kitchens, utilities, gardeners' shops, palace guards and servants. The curved staircases, domes, pilasters and columns do not show the practical purpose of the buildings. Today, the buildings are used by the University of Potsdam and are undergoing restoration, although a lack of funding has pushed the date of completion to 2016. In addition to splendid royal apartments, 4 grand festival halls occupy the central portion of the palace. The Grotto Hall, with walls encrusted with shells, stones, marble, quartz and semi-precious stones, which were enriched in the 19th century. Niches around the room contain statuary and fountains, with cut crystal chandeliers hanging in the arches. With the design of the hall is a marble floor depicting marine animals and plants, and an 1806 ceiling painting, Venus and Amor, and the Three Graces and Cupids. The marble gallery leads to the apartments of the king. It is one of the most important examples of Rococo decoration within the palace. The marble hall is the largest of the festival halls. Rising over 2 floors, the hall overlooks the eastern parterres and the axial vista leading to Sanssouci. The richly gilt curved ceiling in the marble hall rises into the attic area under the great copper dome. The painting in the center of the ceiling was created in 1769. The paintings of Frederick the Great and his wife Elizabeth Christine adorn the walls of this hall. Green Damask Room, Rococo architecture, 18th century. Beautiful over-the-door gilded wood carvings. Catherine the Great. Bedroom once occupied by Kaiser William II. Notice the fashionable shoes they are all wearing. Kaiser Frederick III bedroom. Painting of a coronation. The ascension of William II saw renovation and restoration within the palace being carried out with the installation of steam heating, bathrooms in state apartments, and electrification of the chandeliers which Frederick the Great had collected from across Europe. Until 1918, it remained the preferred residence of William II and the Empress Augusta. Because it was fortunate enough to escape bombing in the Second World War, the palace today looks much as it did in 1918. The Cecilienhof was the last palace built by the Hohenzollern dynasty. It was erected between 1914 and 1917 for Crown Prince Wilhelm and his wife Cecile, emulating an English Tudor style. From July 17 to August 2, 1945, the Potsdam Conference negotiations between the victorious allies of World War II were held here. This star of red geraniums framed with blue hydrangeas was planted in July 1945 for the coming conference of the Big Three. Therefore, it too is a historically relevant part of the external framework of the Potsdam Conference. Cecilienhof was the location of the Potsdam Conference in 1945. Afore, the rooms had been largely refurbished to match the taste of the participants. Winston Churchill, Clement Attlee, Joseph Stalin and Harry S. Truman met at the Round Table in the Great Hall. On 26 July 1945, Churchill and Truman issued the Potsdam Declaration defining the terms for Japanese surrender, while Truman had already given order to prepare the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Today, Cecilienhof is a museum as well as a hotel. The Marble Palace is named after the type of marble used on its facade. It is a small neoclassical palace in Potsdam on the edge of a lake in beautiful surroundings. It was built between 1787 and 1791 for King Frederick Wilhelm II. The Nauen Gate is one of the three preserved gates in Potsdam. It was built in 1755. Built in 1733, the Hunter's Gate is the oldest in Potsdam. The Church of St. Peter and Paul towers above the eastern end of Brandenburg Strasse. The most conspicuous distinguishing mark of the brick building is the Italian-style campanile with a height of almost 60 meters. Built in the period of 1867 and 1870, this was the first Catholic church in Potsdam. The Nikolai Kirche, the most imposing church in Potsdam, dominates the old market. The gate, which resembles a Roman triumphal arch, had two architects and therefore also reveals two facades. Park Sanssouci was originally an orchard near Potsdam. This was the favorite retreat of King Frederick II, later known as Frederick the Great. Here he could stay without worries, hence the name Sans Souci, which means without worry in French. In 1744, the king commissioned the building of a summer palace, the Sans Souci Palace. Here he could leave all the formalities of the royal court behind and spend time on his hobbies like music and philosophy. The south-facing garden facade and the two segmented colonnades enclosing the court of honor. The large park around the palace consists of several different gardens, all with their own character. The park contains many statues and fountains. The largest of them, the great fountain in front of the Sans Souci Palace, is 18 meters high. The tower of the Sans Souci Picture Gallery building. The historic mill is a reproduction of a Dutch mill that stood on the site from 1738 until 1945. The mill has a viewing platform which overlooks the park. The building, with its 300-meter-long front, was built in the style of the Italian Renaissance, after the image of the Villa Medici in Rome and the Uffizi in Florence. The Moorish-style building has no other purpose than to hide the machinery inside. The minaret actually serves as a chimney. Magdeburg is situated on the Elbe River and was one of the most important medieval cities of Europe. Clara Schumann, musician and composer, considered one of the most distinguished pianists of the Romantic era.
Welcome on board!
Thank you.
getting acquainted with Martin, our program director and traveling companions.